All right, this is day 6, part 2, so the back page of your notes packet. So what we're going to do here is we're going to identify and apply these transformations. So let's look at this first one. We're outside, so we're vertical, and we're a +2. So that means we're a vertical shift to up. So what we're going to do is, this is our function. So whenever it says an f of x, this is what we're plugging in. So I'm going to go ahead and use blue for that. So anytime you see me writing this, it's going to be blue. Then anything that we're doing to it is going to be black. So let's go ahead and start. It looks like we're just putting that function. So 2x plus 5. And then we're going to be adding 2. Because that is, again, putting the blue here and then a +2 to the blue. So let's go ahead and simplify by adding those two together. So it's a 2x plus 7. And that's it. That's all the simplification we can do. Now for the next one, this is going to be inside. So it's horizontal and it is opposite thinking. So instead of a -3 being left, it's really horizontal shift right. Shift right 3. So again, we're going to put our blue. So this one we're going to be plugging it in up here. So let's put our 2. We're going to leave the x blank because look how it's inside the parentheses. So we want to replace the x in this one. I also need my +5. So that all stays the same. The only difference, again, we're using this as our format and we're just plugging this in for x. So now, to simplify, we're going to distribute. So it's 2x minus 6 plus 5, and then combine those like terms there. And there's our answer. Okay, the next one. We've got two things happening on this one, and it looks like it is a vertical reflection, because it's negative, over the x-axis. And then we have a -6 out back. So that's again vertical, and it's going to shift it down 6 because it's a minus. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, are we plugging anything in? No, there's nothing being plugged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that function in blue because we're not plugging anything in like we did on the previous one. So we can just go ahead and write it all fully out. Now let's go ahead and put the other two things in with it, the minus and the -6. So notice how the only thing that got replaced was this right here with what the function was up above. So now let's simplify. Distribute. -2x minus 5 minus 6, and then combine like terms. So -2x minus 11. On the next one, two things happening here. Inside's horizontal. Horizontal hugs the inside, and it's a +1, so opposite thinking, not right, but left 1. Outside, a +8, vertical, and it's a plus, so that's going to be a shift up. 8. Okay. Are we plugging something in? Yes, we are. We're plugging this in. So go ahead and write your 2, leave parentheses, just like we did on the second one, and then your +5. And now we'll plug in what it says to plug in for the parentheses here. So an x plus 1. Now don't forget this +8. It also needs to go out back. And let's go ahead and put a set of parentheses around that. Okay, so let's simplify. Inside, we're going to distribute here. Then we're going to combine like terms. Then we'll add that final 8, since we can't do anything else inside those parentheses. And did I add right? Oops, forgot to distribute here. There we go. 2x, 2, and then 2 and 5 is 7. There we go. And 7 and 8 is 15. Make sure to distribute both. Slow down, take your time. That's a 7. Okay, next one. All right, we're outside, so we are vertical. We're small, so we're compression by 1/2. And then we're inside, so we're horizontal. Negatives are a reflection. And you're going to get real good at this as fast as I am. And then we are over the y-axis. Okay, so let's go ahead. Is anything being plugged in? Yes, because we looked inside here and there is something being plugged in. So do what you did above. Write the 2, leave a parenthesis, then plus 5. Now let's plug that in, that negative x, in for what it's telling you. Replace it inside that function. Now don't forget this 1/2. It has to go out front. Okay. Let's distribute. Let's do our parentheses here. Not really distribute, but just multiply those two things together. So that's negative 2x plus 5. Now the 1/2 out front of the parentheses we will distribute. So we're just going to cut things in half. So half of 2, well, that's negative 1x, or just negative x. And then half of 5, well, I'm going to just put 5 halves. If you want to put 2.5, that's fine too. But 5 halves is pretty. Okay, next, outside, vertical for the 2. And that would be a, well, it's big, so it's a stretch by 2. Inside, horizontal, opposite thinking, so not left, but right 5. Okay, is anything being plugged in? Yes, so that means we need to put our 2, then our set of parentheses, then our plus 5. Okay, let's close that in parentheses. And let's plug in this x minus 5. Is there anything else we need to add? Yep, a 2 out front. So work your way inside to out. Distribute. Simplify inside. And then final distributing for your answer. Okay. The last 2 here. Okay, let's take a look. Outside, a negative, so that's a vertical reflection over the x-axis. 3, so that's a vertical stretch by 3. And then a plus 4 out back, that's going to move it vertically up 4, vertical shift up 4. Okay, question. Are we plugging anything in? No. So this time we can just write 2x plus 5 in parentheses there, and then add the other 2 things that you're doing to it, the plus 4 behind it and the negative 3 out front of it. So we're going to go ahead and distribute that negative 3, negative 6x minus 15 plus 4, and then combine any like terms, and that's going to be your final answer. And then the last one. We're inside for both, so horizontal and horizontal. Actually, we're inside for all 3. The negative, that's a reflection over the y. And then we've got a 2, that's a compression because it's opposite thinking. And then a plus 7 opposite thinking would mean left 7. All right, so we're plugging stuff in here. So let's go ahead again, write your 2 parentheses plus 5. What are we plugging in? Oh, we're plugging in all that. So plug in all that. Work your way inside out. Distribute. Negative 2x minus 14. Distribute again. It's negative 4x minus 28 plus 5. And then combine like terms. Negative 4x minus 23. All right, whew, it gets easier, I promise. And the more you practice, the easier it's going to get. Let's do just a couple over here, and then I do want you to practice some, and then we'll cover the rest in class. So this is our new blue x squared. It's going to be a lot easier, actually. And then we're just going to put it in for the f of x and then our additional stuff. So again, this is blue. So we don't have any plugging in. We just write that. And then we write our anything added to it. Well, and that's our answer right there. No simplifying needed. So blue, are we plugging something in? Yes. Oh, on this one we are. So put parentheses squared because that's the only thing that you can put for right now. Now let's replace, again, we're plugging this in to this for the x. So in here would be x minus 3. Now we are not going to FOIL because we haven't talked about that yet, but we would not just distribute. That's not okay. We can't just do that with this. It would be x minus 3 times x minus 3, and we'd use the FOIL to multiply everything. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to simplify anything like that. We're going to keep it simple. Next one, are we plugging anything in? No. So just your x squared is written, and now we write everything else, the negative out front and the minus 6 behind. And that's it. That's our answer, negative x squared minus 6. All right, one more. Here we go. Is anything plugged in? Yes. So parentheses squared, leave a spot to plug in what you need to plug in. And what do we plug in? Well, it tells you right here, x plus 1. And then don't forget the plus 8 behind. Are we going to FOIL this? No. So you're done. It's just x plus 1 squared plus 8. We're not going to FOIL. All right, go ahead and try a few more of these. Again, think about, are you plugging something in? So yes on this one. So again, if you say yes to plugging something in, just put parentheses squared, leave it blank so you can plug in what it's telling you to plug in. And you're going to be doing plugging in on these two, not this one, and this last one. So go ahead and try those, and then we'll look at that last column in class together.